I will face them all and crush them. Lord of the waters, grant me swiftness for this trial.
What is up guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you the new melee AD carry Nilah. Nilah's passive is going to amplify the healing and shielding, and then the other part, when she last hits a minion, then she's going to get rid of that XP penalty you normally get when you lane with an ally. So that is pretty OP, because Mordekaiser, when he first got reworked, he used to have a passive similar to this as well, and they did end up removing that because it turned out to be really OP, so it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Then we have the Q, which is the ability that you start off with. So it's a skill shot, and if you hit something with it, like a minion or a tower, enemy champion and so on, then you're going to get empowered for a short duration. And while you're empowered, you're going to get bonus attack range, attack speed, deal increased damage on auto attacks, and then you also deal splash damage, so AoE damage. So that basically gives you some wave clear as well. So when you're in the lane and like it starts off, you can use that Q to like last hit with, because she's a melee champion, you will get poked down a lot. So Q is like your ranged damaging ability that can help you last hit. And then when it empowers your auto attacks, it also helps you wave clearing. Then you have the E, which is a fixed dash, fixed distance as well. So it works similar to a Yasuo C, where if you stand closer to the target, you're gonna dash further, and if you're standing further away from the target, you won't dash that far away from them. And you can also combine your Q with your E, also similar to Yasuo. So that is pretty cool. And then we have the W. So that's like Samira's ability in where you block out auto attacks, but it does not block out abilities. So you can block out auto attacks with it, and then you also take reduced magic damage while getting some bonus movement speed. The new part here is that you can hide your allies inside that W as well. It will not last as long on the allies though, but it still works on them, so that is really strong. So Nilah is a champion that wants to play really aggressive, but she also has some great synergy with enchanter supports, thanks to that passive that is going to amplify the healing and shielding. So unlike champions like the Samira, which definitely wants heavy engage supports, Nilah can also work with enchanters. But if you want to play aggressive, then of course having something like a Nautilus, Leona or Alistar is going to help you out a lot, but you can also play it more passive. Also, the passive part of your Q guys does it so you ignore some of the opponent's armor, which is really strong, and then you also heal for some of the damage that you deal. And this effect right here scales up with crit chance, so that's why it's important that you make sure that you get a lot of crit. But you can afford to play really aggressive, because that W is really going to deny a lot of AD carries. So that is going to make it really strong in the bot lane. Especially if it is against auto attack only AD carries like the Vayne for example. Like caster AD carries, okay, they still have their abilities, right? But AD carries that only have like 95% of the damage or plus in the auto attacks, you can deny them a lot with that W. And we got a nice double kill right here, ignited the Zeri, and then we can just go ahead and reset. So the first item, your mythic item, usually you will be going for the shield bow because you need that sustain, but also that shield. You are a melee champion, you will be in the middle of the fight, so you need all that defensive stuff you can get without sacrificing damage, and that's why the shield bow comes in. You can also just straight up rush the tier 2 boots, the berserkers, if you want to. Can also go for the armor boots. But by getting the Noon Quiver, you also make sure that you get a ton of damage as well, because that is a pretty big spike. And with your E, you can store 2 charges, so if you use the first charge and somebody flashes away, then you have a second chance at engaging, so that is pretty cool as well. It's a pretty interesting champion and sort of a mix of Samira and Diana. So you want to use that Q to you can use it on the minions as well, but it's gonna help you a lot with last hitting because you get that increased auto attack range. And that circle displays your auto attack range. As a Yasuo going to ham at the moment. You can pop that W to protect your allies as well, because it also works on them. Just keep in mind that it will not last as long on the allies as it will on you. We're almost about to hit level 6, that is going to unlock that really OP ultimate as well. But when you fight, you want to make sure that you have your W up, because that is going to deny a lot of damage from especially the AD carry. Now we finally got that ultimate up. So what it does is that it's going to deal damage and then it pulls people in, similar to Diana's ultimate. And this is also going to heal you for part of the damage dealt. Once again, also scaling with crit chance. And this will also be given to your allies, so that's also pretty cool. So a lot of interesting mechanics on this champion. And even though some people are already complaining about it, I personally think it's really cool. Also, this champion works in the mid lane as well. But this ultimate is something you want to use when you can all in. Even better if you can hit multiple people with it. Well, there's an early fight going on. Well, that is unfortunate, but the luck should get him. So the ultimate doesn't do that much early on. Of course, you need some AD items first to actually benefit from all of that stats you're getting. But in the mid game and onwards, even in the late game, you're gonna one-tap a lot of champions. You'll be able to burst them down so fast. So top laner getting absolutely destroyed. But we are doing pretty well in the bot side, so we have to play around us. I got the tier 2 boots here because mobility is also important. I just like to get the Nunkuyo first or some AD item first, so you don't have 0 damage when you get back to lane. But mobility is going to help you out a lot, because people will be trying to kite you a lot as well when you are a melee champion. So mobility and increased attack speed to boost the DPS as well. Don't you just spam your Q, guys? Get that empowered auto attack up, and then you look for trades while it is up, and then you can just back off. Your Q is going to have a very low cooldown. And remember, it also works on the towers, so when you want to push, make sure that you use it on the towers, because you benefit from that extra attack speed. And also that XP sharing passive. Remember, you only get that part or that bonus when you last hit the minions. So if you don't get to last hit the minions, you'll not benefit from this passive. So you have to be really good at last hitting, because then you can actually get a massive XP advantage over the enemy bot lane, because they will be sharing the XP, meaning they're gonna fall behind like a normal duo bot lane will, but you will not if you manage to last hit well. Well, since the bot lanes, we're just going mid here. Not sure what's going on with our team at the moment. And yeah, that's a little bit of a question mark from the Lee Sin. But you know what, we'll take the kill. That just means we are getting pretty fat, and we're also getting some plates here. You can play her like Samira actually. The playstyle is pretty similar in that you want to be able to get on top of the opponent, smack them with a Q into a ton of auto attacks. When they start releasing their important stuff, you pop their W to block out the auto attacks as well. And then you have that ultimate to make sure they are staying in melee range. And if you can hit multiple people with it in team fights, that's going to be insane, because that is what allows this champion to be pretty strong in the later stages of the game when you start grouping up with your team and going for those fights. Not enough gold for the shield bow yet, but we will have it on the next space. And as I said, you can go for any of the 3 mythic items, but shield bow has been the best so far in my experience, because it gives you that extra sustain but also that shield. But if you're playing against a team composition that will build Serpent's Fang, like if they have like 1 or 2 players who will definitely get Serpent's Fang early on, then just skip it. And because your empowered auto attacks also deals AoE damage, along with your Q, you will be able to push out the waves pretty fast in the mid game. And it is a pretty skill intensive champion. Like, you will have to put in a lot of games in order to master this champion. That is for sure, but that is also what makes these champions really fun, is that you can spend a lot of time and still keep learning new things. That's why champions like the Aurelia, Yasuo and so on have such high play rate, is that they have so many mechanics, but also you can keep learning stuff. And that is the same case for Nilah. And our Sinch is just running it down, I think. Not sure why, but... And we smack that Zeri for that nice shot down, so we're getting 500 gold out of that. And we will go ahead and recall, we will get the shield bow. And now we start spiking. The next item you can go for Phantom Dancer if you want to. Essence Reaver, I have tried that out as well. And I will be building it this game, but it feels so nice. Like, it feels great, because you have really great synergy with that Shin passive, because you constantly Q. They're gonna activate that Shin. You constantly use abilities when you fight people. And for champions that have to use abilities a lot, they will definitely benefit from the Shin passive. But you have to make sure that you are getting a crit item as the second item, because then you will be able to build into the Infinity Edge afterwards. But for every crit item you get, the stronger your healing is going to be, because it scales off of crit. So just constantly Q spam, honestly. You just Q spam and then you go for trades with the opponent. Even better if you have your W up. We're gonna take out the tower right here, and then we can go for the all-in on this Zeri. And she is toast. It's better if you have your 2 stacks of your E ready, because then when they dash away, you can use that second dash to like follow up. I did not have it this time, but we still got the kill, so that's great. But this champion feels like a hyper carry. Like, the damage feels exactly like a hyper carry, just a melee version. Like, the damage in the later stages of the game is crazy. I was able to 1 vs 1 a full build Vayne as well. So that is some really nice DPS you will be getting later on. As long as you make sure to build it right. You want to make sure that you are getting crit. And then also remember that you have built in armor pin on your Q passive, so you don't have to itemize into armor pin items. You can do it, but you don't have to. So it allows you to build into that 3 item crit chance items instead of having to opt into armor pin early on. I'll just stay in the silent here, so you get some soul XP. Not as important on this champion, because you have that sharing passive. She's also pretty strong in the mid lane. I have played her a bunch of times in the mid lane as well. The OP part with Nilah mid lane is that you can have your jungler come mid, because they will also benefit from that XP passive, so they will also end up getting a pretty big lead. So we can just go top right here because people are running it down, and that Darius is getting pretty fat, so we just stay top for now. Hopefully we don't have to meet him alone, that would be a disaster. So Yasuo is taking down the Herald, we can go mid and help out if they need help. Remember, you can also do that EQ combo similar to Yasuo. When you do that, that's going to make it so your Q deals like a damage in a line behind you, and also you still get that empowered auto attack buff up. Remember to use that Q on the towers as well, it's gonna allow you to push it out faster. And we get another really nice shot down, so that is going to be 700 gold. Straight into our pockets, so that will allow us to buy some really nice components. Had to watch out for the Darius. And down the Darius goes. We are picking up a lot of shutdowns, that is another 1k gold. So now we almost have 3k gold, so we can almost straight up buy the Infinity Edge, which is going to be the big spike. But crit is important, because more crit means your passives get a lot stronger, the healing part. And with that ultimate, your allies will also benefit from it. So it's a champion that relies a decent amount on sustain as well, so when people get anti-healing, but also stuff like the Serpent's Fang, that is how you want to counter this champion. Now we can just sell the Doran Sword here, and then we can wait for the Infinity Edge, and then that is when we are getting that big damage spike that you're going to shred every single AD carry in the game. The only problem is being able to gap close, and honestly that should not really be a problem when you have 2 dashes in your kit. And then a flash on top of that as well. Yeah, this Yasuo is gone. There's no way he was getting out. But we have the Essence Reroll, we have the Shield Bow, we have the Infinity Edge. Once again, you can also go Phantom Dancer early on. I'm gonna get it as the next item though. But every single time we Q and auto attack, then we're going to proc that Essence Reroll passive for extra bonus damage. So that does feel very nice to have. We can take away the blue buff right here, and then we can go for the Darius spot side. Singed is probably running it down again, as usual. So right now Darius has a fully stacked passive, so meaning that we do not want to get any auto attacks from him. If we do, because his ultimate is also ready, then he's gonna insta one-shot us. So no need to risk that when you're sitting on 9 kills. And now we have the E fully maxed out. You can also max out your W early on, guys, that is also perfectly viable. Because of the cooldown difference. We are getting so many shutdowns. Another shutdown from that Darius because they are so far ahead. In the game, they just constantly have the shutdowns up, and I am the one to get it, which is perfect because I am the hyper carry of the team. I will be able to carry. Have to watch out for the Pyke though, because he can execute with that ultimate. His ultimate does not care about any shielding, so shield bow passive is not going to help, so that's why I'm just backing off here, instead of risking something. We can go ahead and reset. I'm gonna build into the Phantom Dancer. If you need the tankiness, you can also go for Guardian Angel or Death Stance early.
I am Nilah. Accept my challenge.
But Phantom Dancer, lots of extra attack speed, and the super OP passive, as well as that crit, means that our passives will be stronger. More crit is equal to a way stronger passive for yourself and your allies as well. But if you're playing against a heavy assassin team composition, sometimes you want to get defensive stats early on. In that case, you can just build Guardian Angel at this stage, or you can get Death Stance depending on what you feel like you need the most. And if you need magic resistance, you just build the Morph. Withstand is also possible, but Morph is just so OP that really no reason to not buy it if you need the MR. Especially when you think about that Serpent's Fang does not work against the Morph passive shield.
There is great power behind this smile.
We are spending a lot of time in the silence because that's how you make sure that you stay up in farm. Aim to get at least 7 CS per minute every single game. And then the benefit is also that you can split push and take down the towers really fast. Even better when you have the Essence River, because the Sheen passive allows you to split push even faster. That's why I like to build this item on this champion. Well, you see, we ended up dying, but we got 1 for 1. You see how strong this champion is in a 1 vs 1 and even 1 vs 2. Like, I am fed, but the Darius is also really fed, right? Like, he picked up a bunch of kills. And I was still able to get a kill in a 1 vs 2. Now imagine if I had anti-healing up, then I would have killed both of them. So Nilah is like a true hyper carry, just the melee version. And when you have your W up, then you're also going to block out a lot of auto attacks while also decreasing the magic damage that you are receiving. So it will make you pretty tanky in fights despite not having any real HP. So I figured out the solution to this, her being squishy. You of course have your W, but also in the result tree you go conditioning and overgrowth. That is going to completely solve your problems, because you get a lot of free armor and magic resistance, and then you also get a lot of free HP. And with that, you will not be squishy anymore, meaning that assassins will not have an easy opportunity to just straight up take you down whenever they see you on the screen. But you can also use that rune in a result tree that gives you healing. Try to hit multiple people with that ultimate, try to like line them up, and then you go in. You usually want an ally to like engage for you as usual, and then you can follow up afterwards. But that is how you play the new champion Nilah, so I hope this was helpful. But thanks for watching guys, and see you all next time.